the Turners and the Medfords watched Acrimony, and so our homework, Benchwarmer and I, was to watch Acrimony so we could, you know, see what it was all about. And then, of course, no, I'm looking for a question to come up with this week. He's like, "Oh no, Acrimony, that's a good question. That's a good question about this show, this movie." And then I was like, "You know what? You're right. Let's do a movie review." Okay. We haven't done a movie review in a while, so we're gonna do a movie review. And we're gonna talk about the characters, and the question is, how do you rate the movie, and what are your overall thoughts about each character and the role they played in the chain of events in this movie, Acrimony. So if you haven't seen Acrimony, you might want to
spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's a spoiler alert because we're gonna talk about everything all the way to the end.
Sorry, Quest.
So yeah, close your ears, close your eyes. So in Acrimony, of course, we know it's a story about a woman. She's going to the psychologist and she's talking about this incident that happened that kind of drove her crazy, made her acrimonious, which means bitter. Because of course I was looking it up, and they went through the stages of her bitterness, or the growth of her getting to that point of bitterness, which of course climaxes at the end of the movie.
How she portrayed herself as a victim.
Right, exactly.
Right.
So she came into she's like, but he did this to me, and he made me do this, and da 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 da, so on and so forth. You know, and this is why I did what I did. But we have a saying in our house: your response is your responsibility. So how you respond to craziness that happens to you is your responsibility. You could either act crazy like the person that's acting crazy with you, or you could roll on with it.
Yep.
Keep on moving.
Yep.
You know, I try to teach my kids that same thing. Just because somebody else is doing you crazy don't mean you got to do crazy back.
It's all in your reaction.
My thing with the movie is the whole the climactic to get to that point.
Man,
I mean, it started
with the backstory.
Well, yeah, we're in high school sweethearts, this, that, and the other, and then, you know, her dad passes away. And then gives her a certain amount of money.
I think it was the grandmother.
The mother passed away. Gives her a certain amount of money, and she was doing good up to that point. And then next thing you know, she meets him, and
he's living in a trailer. Trailer home. He has no family.
Yeah, and then see,
she takes on a project.
She should have stopped when he said, "Can you buy me a car?"
But she should have stopped way before that.
Well, yeah,
they both should have stopped when she ran the car into the trailer.
Well, yeah, he should have walked away.
Whoa, that should have been it right there. That should have been like,
oh, I'm him. I'm walking away.
Yeah, that should have been an alarm and a red flag. This girl is crazy.
A woman knows in her gut when something is wrong. Why do you have to go like she did? She sat in the car and waited. You already know the truth. Why do you have to go see it?
When that handprint hit the wall, hit the window, it was over after that.
But the young man in the beginning of the movie, he was struggling. He needed help. That was someone that
was her project,
right? But
she took on a project initially.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Possibilities.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to speak out of power. If you have a standard, then you need to stick with that standard.
She lowered her standard,
but she didn't have a standard.
She didn't appear to have a standard initially. She was like, "You fool!" She was upset with him. She was already stressed out about trying to go to school, and then he bumps into her and knocks her stuff down. She was already just
heading in the right direction.
Headache. She was already
she was headache way before she got to him.
And he knew that, and he capitalized on it. And she's
did he know he was capitalizing on it, or did it just progression just start at that route? I mean, because when he first started out, you know, yes, he had this one line that said, you know what, I can't get anywhere. You know, I don't want to always rely on you and depend on you to this and that, but I got this interview of her I'm going through. That point, he knew what he was doing.
Well, after he found out, she was in a space where, you know, her mother passed away. She had these self-loathing feelings about herself and her education.
And then he confided in him, and then he knew, okay.
And he saw an opportunity, no different than any one of us. If we say, for instance, okay, I sell weddings, and I know you got a venue, and I'm like, okay, well, let's see what we can work.
Let me make you get a sales job.
Let's see what we can do to mesh this all together. So I'm not gonna say he was an opportunist, but he was working what he needed to work. He was in a deficit.
You're right. I think he became an opportunist after he found out, oh, she went to go get me a car.
But what he did when she got him a car, he should not have been messing around and
she got that after he got the car.
He got the car, then he cheated.
Then he cheated.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Then he cheated. Yep. Got the card. Then he cheated.
So
yeah.
why would you do that to somebody?
Yeah.
Right.
That right
was
there.
wrong.
Right.
That deserved a shot in the
But
foot.
she forgave him. So once you make the decision to forgive somebody for something like that, it's all water under the bridge. It's done. It's done.
So how do y'all feel about her family members, her sisters?
They were right to some degree initially when he cheated. When they thought he was bad news.
Look at Professor.
When they thought he was bad news initially, family knows. When someone's bringing somebody around the house, you're like, I don't know about that person because you read their energy.
Got some intuition.
But she chose to keep going forward, and she made that bed.
Coach said he never asked for a car, and her sisters had standards for her. She just wanted loyalty.
He didn't ask for a car.
He didn't ask. No, he insinuated, alluded to the fact that he wanted a car.
Yeah. He was. What do you call it? Passive aggressive with it.
It was the illusion of wanting getting a car. Yeah. He didn't ask for it. He knew. He knew how to ask the question to get the thing that he wanted.
I don't know that she was weak. I think she just, like he said, she had a giving heart. And she was kind-hearted, and he took advantage of it.
And the other thing is, what we're not putting on the table is this right here. He was her first.
Yes,
and that is
that also plays a part. I didn't think about that.
He was the first, and being the first
that also plays a part.
It does a lot. So,
but like Coach said, she wanted loyalty. She wanted loyalty, and she thought that she had to buy that from him by doing giving, and never asking for anything in return.
The need to please.
The need to please. People pleaser.
Go ahead, Coach. Go ahead, Professor.
What?
I know you over there steaming.
Come on now. He laughing.
So this movie was to me about a faithful wife who stood by a devious husband. And she ended up.
All right, I got to back you up on that right there. How is he a devious husband?
Because to me, in the beginning, he had a purpose for being with her. Yes. He needed help, and he was pulling from her, only for her to give up on him after infidelity struck. But she gave up too soon because then. But I'm telling you what I'm feeling about this. She gave up on him. She was too frustrated because she felt like she's a faithful wife, ain't done nothing to him. He did to her, but at the same time, he was an individual who had a purpose. And when she found out that purpose, she felt betrayed and used.
Let me say
but
something.
She gave up on him for me too early. And then when that happened, he finally struck rich. And when she saw that, especially after he came back and gave this woman $10 million to pay off her mother's home.
No, he bought the home and gave her $10 million.
Now she feels betrayed because he turned around and got with someone that he cheated on with her before.
Let me back.
Because we done got all the way to the end.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying.
Where the middle is? Where's the middle?
Get the middle part in there.
Because go ahead.
But I feel like she was a faithful wife in the beginning.
Yes.
Okay, I get that, but here's what I'm saying. As you're dating, we talk about this all the time. We're just dating, okay? And as we're dating, you may not be the person I wind up being with. You got to put that on the table. He was a faithful husband. He was not an unfaithful husband. Now, he was an unfaithful date that one time.
I put it all into one picture, which is why I say he was devious.
You can't do that when there's no ring on it. So you can't say, if there's no ring on it, you can't say he's obligated or she's obligated. Yes, he had a purpose.
He had a motive.
He had a purpose.
They do. Relationships grow. They go in levels. They go in
stages.
They go in stages. And that was the immature stage. We've all had
it. Yes. As you grow.
But him not working and him putting all his efforts into one thing and not helping her.
That's the one thing I say is trifling.
Man, he's supposed to bring.
Which is why I keep saying the word devious.
But here's the deal.
I don't think it was.
I don't think he was devious
because
he had good intentions.
I think he didn't have a good example to show him what a man was to be the foundation for his family.
But here's what
it is an excuse.
Here's what I have to say about that right there. I know all about having tunnel vision, having direction. I know all about that. I know all about, I have a dream. I'm going to do what it takes to get to that dream. You know, sometimes when you're in that mode, in that moment, you're not thinking about anything else but getting to that dream because you know in your heart of hearts it's going to happen, it's going to come true. So I'm going to do, and you still got bills. You're right. You still have bills. Sometimes you're blinded by that dream. Sometimes that dream can blind you. Now, is that good or bad? If it works, it's great.
But what kind of man would allow his woman to work 2 jobs and be as tired as she is?
That's where you're trifling.
Let her finish.
When she puts it in your face and lets you know, okay, we are in the red, and she begs you and pleads and cries for you to get a job, and you deny her.
That's where you're trifling.
Deny her
I agree
what
with
she
that.
is rightfully owed.
I agree with that. That's when you're trifling. So you find ways to take care of the family and still go after your dream.
So let me ask y'all this. We're going through all of this. The crux of the matter is she did a lot for him when they were dating, and then she did a lot more for him, of course, once they got married. She built him up. She allowed him to do she allowed him to have that tunnel vision and build his dream and not, ask him anything. And then when he got to the point where he got the thing, and then she thought he was cheating on her. Was she in the right? Huh?
Before the cheating.
No. I'm talking about once he got to the place where he met the girl again. They've been through all of this. She done depleted all her mama's funds.
And the house.
And they lost the house. They living with everybody else. They got to this point, and she has been backing him up alongside him, struggling with him this whole time. He finally gets the deal, or he gets the one that puts on the table the $800,000, and he turns it down.
At first,
did she have the right to be upset with him for turning that $800,000 down, and then when she thought that he was cheating on her, say, that's it, I'm done. That's the straw that broke the camel's back. I'm through.
Did she have the right to leave him at that point? Did she have the
right to leave him at that point?
I think so.
Hindsight is 2020, and I would say the same.
She had that right.
At that point, she had the right.
At that point,
you got $800,000.
So when he
just
came back,
home.
I'm not finished. So when he came back, when he went back and they called him and got the deal, the real deal, and they allowed him to have his intellectual property. See, the reason why he turned it down, because they just wanted to take off with it, and they wanted it. When they came back,
because our boy would have benefited $1 billion to his 800,000.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly. So once he got that, and he came back and he asked her for forgiveness, and came with. And she denied him that reconciliation. Was she wrong at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then the next stage, then she realizes, you know what? Wait a minute. He done gave me $2 million, bought this house. Maybe I do need to reconcile with him. And then she goes over there.
Too late.
And it's too late.
Well, first of all,
is she wrong for getting upset at that point? So there's 3 different things.
Yes.
I don't think she's wrong getting upset, but hey, she made the decision to leave him, so you can't hate on that. You shouldn't have been listening to your sisters anyway.
That's what I was getting ready to say next. So then your sisters are the ones that brought that news to you, and instead of y'all sitting down and talking about it, you just automatically assume, well, what's this doing in the car? And he's trying to explain to her, hey, I gave her a ride. We went to lunch. I'm trying to get this deal. She happens to work at the place. She wasn't hearing none of that because her sister was over here in her ear.
Run her mouth.
Well, that I think it's twofold too. I think it's twofold. What we forget is this is the woman who he cheated on.
Initially.
So you talk about that, it was still back there.
So she never really forgave him
right.
for
So
that.
now we
because she didn't trust him when he said what he said.
Cheating on
this whole time.
The mind plays tricks.
It does.
Yeah. And so was she wrong? I think the moment he gave her, first of all, for him to come back and say, here's $10 million. I'm sorry.
And your house.
Here's your house. Here's the keys to the house. He didn't have to do that.
He didn't have to. He had a big heart.
Because she said he owed, and it was so crazy about it. She said, well, you owe me another 1 point something million, 2. I gave you.
That was
million.
After.
Yeah.
That was when she sued him once she found out about the woman.
I gave you more than I took because I took $300,000 from you.
And the house.
So I gave you more than what I took.
30 times more.
More than what I. Yeah.
Big time.
And then I said, I'm sorry.
They're more.
That should have been it.
Yeah.
But when a woman is scorned, she feels that she's scorned. She turned all the way to victim. That she had no part in that. You made the decision to end it. You didn't trust him. You didn't believe him. It was done. You were tired. There was so much circumstantial evidence that led up to her to just
she met her breaking point.
Some women get tired and they just throw in the towel. There are a lot of marriages out there where couples have separated and divorced, and then you see them happy, married 50 years later,
do anything
to somebody else, and it's just you just really
you right on the edge of the.
Well, let me ask you this question.
She would have had everybody out of her business. She and her husband could have talked clearly, and maybe whatever manipulation she thought he was doing, maybe
they could have worked it out.
They could have worked it out.
Well, let me ask you this question right here, though.
But do you think that he was already in the relationship with the other woman by that time?
No.
There was no indication that was happening.
She was helping him. She worked for the company, and she became intrigued by him, just by him, how he loved his wife, how he was so dedicated to
and how she was helping him.
And remember, she was looking at his videos over and over again, saying, "Wait a minute, now this might be something that we need to look at."
If it hadn't been for her,
right,
he wouldn't be where he is.
But the other thing is,
so we have an audience comment. Let me say the audience comment real quick. Gloria Green says she didn't really believe in him and his dream. Bottom line, she listened to her family, and even when he came back and gave her a check and repurchased her house, she still told him, "I'm not taking you back."
Right. I think she made a good point. She really didn't trust his dream.
She didn't really trust him
even
in the beginning. She didn't believe in his dream in the beginning.
You saw that as a movie progressed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you saw that. That's a very good.
And I think that's one of the biggest comments.
That's why he rejected her in the middle of the movie. If you remember, when she said, "I just want you to get a job, just a job," and he was like, "You don't believe in me." And he said it. If you don't believe in me, I have nothing.
Right.
I can't move forward. In a nutshell, I'm just summarizing.
I need you to believe in me and what I'm doing.
As long as she believed in him, he kept doing and kept digging in his dream. He was persistent.
Right.
That's a telltale for how we should live our lives today. You got to be resilient. You got to keep going back, even when they tell you no. They done put trespassing against him.
Right.
And remember, they called the security on him. Told him he can't come back no more.
Once he found out that she didn't believe in him, he kind of just put it to the side and said, "Okay,
and
well,
she was mad because they weren't having sex." And she said, "Well, if he ain't getting it from me, he getting it from somewhere."
Right.
So she already had it in the back of her mind. She placed the seed there.
Yeah.
So it was downhill after that.
And I like the way that the movie progressed and put those different stages that she was in. You know, as she progressed into her craziness, into that acrimonious behavior.
Yeah,
because you get that victim mentality, and everybody's against you.
And then the psychologist was like, "I think you got some personality disorder."
Exactly. And she went off on that psychologist. She was like, "Did you hear what? You know, I don't care what you said. It wasn't working. It wasn't working."
Yeah,
she was manic.
I think the point that he came back and gave her the 10 million, said, "I'm sorry. You're right. It should have been done. It should have been over." But the other thing we're not talking about is everything he promised her. "I'm going to get you here. I'm going to get you there. I'm going to give you this. I'm going to give you that."
He ended up giving to the other. He wound up
giving it. Is there now? I was going to ask a question about that. Should he have done that with her, or given her another dream to look at?
Well, I was going to say, I think for both of them, I don't think they tried hard enough. I think that he tried to a certain extent. When he came back and he said, "I'm sorry, here's this," so on and so forth, blah, 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 he gave her that. But I think when she didn't reconcile with him at that point, why didn't he push a little harder?
Because they'd already got divorced.
By the time he came to give her that money,
they had
already done.
They'd already got divorced.
The woman at this time, when he came to that attorney's office to sign off on that divorce, he tried to not sign it.
He did.
He sure did. He came in and started.
He didn't want to.
Yeah, he didn't want to, and he had already gotten a divorce.
Okay.
And
Coach said she said they weren't getting back together before he offered her the 10 million and the keys to her mama's house.
Yeah.
Once he told her what his project finally hit, and it was a great day for both of them, her whole expression changed.
Sure did.
Yeah.
And then Gloria says, "Sorry, but I saw her craziness manifesting in the beginning, ramming his trailer with her car."
There you go.
That's gonna start there. Yeah.
That
There
should have
you
been
go.
done by then.
Yeah. Once you put that out there, believe who they are. If they show you who you are, believe it.
They believe the first time.
Yeah.
When she found out that he was pregnant, his wife was pregnant. Well, fiance
that really
was pregnant,
went. Yeah, that really drove her mad.
She took being the victim to a whole
another level.
Mm-hmm.
But remember, the reason why she couldn't get pregnant is because she rammed that trailer.
Because she couldn't control her emotions.
But when she rammed that trailer,
she was trying to please him.
but when she rammed that trailer, remember when she went to the hospital? That's when she was told she wasn't going to be able to have children
because of her. She put that on herself.
Because of her response to what he did.
That's her
she
fault.
ruined her own chances of having a child.
Although what the new wife said, well, I don't need to dress no more that you ruined because this little baby, I ain't gonna be able to fit it.
Ooh, she was wrong for that. She dug into her for that. That's wrong.
Yeah.
She needed to be slapped for that one.
When she can't have kids.
Yeah, and she knew.
It's little inside.
So she was wrong for that. Yeah, she was wrong for that. Gloria said, if you listen through the buildup, she constantly played the victim.
That's what she
did. She did on every phase.
No accountability.
Woo! No. And Coach said when she was young, she introduced him to the bee. When she became an adult, she introduced him to the devil. Dang.
She said it.
That's very true.
I can be the blankety blank devil. I would have.
So did she have on Prada?
Ran.
The devil wears Prada. Oh Lord.
No, I think that so number one, who was more in the wrong in this movie?
See, that's the question. That's the $1 million question.
I don't think that anybody was in the wrong per se, but she was a trouble girl from beginning before her mother even died.
Right.
Mental illness needs to be addressed.
Yeah, it started early on.
Yes, and where it came from, it seems though she came from a good family. I mean, they had money to leave her, a house to leave her. Maybe there was some sort of division because the sisters were like
maybe
this
it's from
like
the sisters.
that.
And remember, as much as she was you thought she was it. Her sisters, as small as they were, they was running her.
She didn't feel that she measured up because she said, "I don't even know why I'm in college."
Gloria said she was the one in the wrong.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was my answer, and my answer of her being the wrong came in that little office where she had no faith in him.
None,
going back to what y'all was saying, he tried everything in his power not to sign that, and after he saw that she wasn't giving in to him, he just stood in silence.
He sure did.
And at that point, that's when he said, "I have no chance.
I'm through." Yeah.
This thing is done.
And then he wound up moving into the shelter or something like that.
Yes, he did.
Shelter,
right. That's right.
Yeah.
Sure did.
He
didn't go with the woman first.
Yeah. And then he only went over there when she
coaxed him into going.
Well, remember he was working at the restaurant.
Right.
And I think he wound up either calling her or something like that. And however they got back in contact, and she said, "I've been looking at this, and you've got a meeting." So, and he still had his product. You got a meeting, so come to the meeting. And they had nothing to do with each other. Yeah.
Well, where are you?
Yeah. I'm at a restaurant working because he'd already given up. So once he's given up in his mind, he's gone. Once he's gone, he's gone. Yeah. And so the gesture, the olive branches, here's 10 million. I'm sorry for what I put you through. Because as acknowledgement, I know I put you through a lot. And yes, this project hit. And it hit great. So here's $10 million, and I'm hoping this
your house
back because that was my fault.
But did you see the transformation that he wasn't the antagonist.
Right?
He was
the antagonist.
Protagonist.
She was the antagonist.
Antagonist.
Yeah, she was the antagonist.
He underwent so many transformations. He was a stand-up guy.
I thought so too.
He was a stand-up guy. I don't like.
He just had hard times.
That's why I go back to
from the beginning. Just not even having a family.
Yeah, because how did he get in the trailer park?
Mother died. Aunt left it to him.
Yeah.
Something I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember the beginning. Yep. Gloria says again, at any point she could have stopped supporting him, but she continued to help. I saw him as a good man, albeit a bit weak, but he strongly believed in his product. And he didn't have to give her anything. He showed his character and reached back still to give to her despite her rejection of him.
Now he was dishonest initially. He was trying to cover himself. He was trying to turn over a new leaf. He didn't tell her about his jail time. That's a good
point. Yeah.
So she was banking on him. She believed in him. She was banking on him getting a good job out. All these 3 job interviews after he graduated college. She paid for his college education.
Did it say how many years transpired when they were going through all that? I don't recall.
It didn't give us a time frame.
They've probably been married for maybe, you talking about how long they'd been married?
Yeah, how long they had
20.
been.
20 years. Yeah, 20 years.
18 years. I think it was 18 years.
Yeah.
That's a lot of time.
Had to live on his own and do everything for himself. When he met her, she was his saving grace.
Right.
The other thing too is part of what he didn't know about her is that mental part.
Yes.
He consistently added to that mental.
Yes.
He didn't know that he was doing that.
No.
but he consistently added to that mental and piled on and piled on and piled on to that mental. And then what she was trying to do is trying to avoid that person, that devil wears Prada.
She knew she had it in her.
Mm-hmm.
She talked about it,
and she was trying to avoid that. But he didn't know it. And so in that,
but you don't think he wouldn't have got a red flag when she hit the trailer? When she
because
she not only hit it once, but she hit it twice.
No, because
about when you're in such a deficit, you feel as though you deserve certain things. You can handle certain things. He'd been through worse. That was nothing.
Yeah. And your mindset is, you know what? I screwed up. I messed up.
Yeah.
So whatever, when you do something wrong, you face whatever consequence comes to you. And while that may have been a bit extreme, it's just a consequence you got to face. You can't tell what type of consequences you're supposed to give me. I messed up, so here's what you're supposed to do. You don't have that right to tell me what I'm. Once you mess up, you don't have the right to tell me what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
And so in his mind, he's thinking, you know what, I messed up.
But she was a fool.
Yeah.
Ain't no way he would have proposed to me with, what was it, a ring from a
Cracker Jack box or something like that. What was that?
I mean,
that was a Cracker Jack box. Yeah, he wasn't ready.
Think about, somebody should have been in that girl's ear, not in the way her
in the beginning.
Were. Just okay, you need to finish school.
And I think
he needs to get his life together.
I think there's another push away too, with her sisters. I think that she didn't want to be around her sisters so much, because remember, look how her sisters treated the other two men. They husbands.
They emasculated them.
Yeah, they did.
Who wants a man that's just gonna do what the woman says?
Exactly.
She wears the pants.
The sisters wore the pants in the house.
Did that, yeah.
You
could tell.
Both of them wore the pants in their own house. Couldn't have been my house.
It ain't your house.
I'd have been slid out.
My honey wears all the pants.
Slid out though.
He got some big pants.
Girl, my husband has to wear the pants. I don't want to wear pants.
I don't want to wear them. And we talked about this a long time ago. I was like, I don't want your job. I don't want what God gave you to do, because man, that's a lot.
But that's the thing with a lot of men, like that. Not so much today, but we used to see it. But it's kind of 50-50 split right now. You see a lot of men, it doesn't matter what race they are, they just don't want to work hard. They don't want to take care of their family. They rather sit around and do the least amount of work and let a woman work 2 and 3 jobs to take care of them. What kind of man will just sit there and do that? You don't want to. They don't. To
me, one that hasn't been raised right.
Now,
if you were raised by a strong man, and you have a good example,
twisting his jaws and everything.
But they had mothers that struggled, and then they turn around and be. What did I call them? What did I tell you I called them? I called them SAG.
Oh yeah, you told me that the other day.
I can't say the A word, but say sorry, A guys. Because you will sit here, you saw what your mother went through, but you're not gonna get up and do more
and not allow somebody that you say you love go through that same thing.
It really irks my soul when a man will allow a woman to take care of them.
Now I have to step
I mean, you know what? I think it depends on the situation. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead, Pastor. Put on your pastor hat.
Go ahead, Cedric.
Come on now.
I gotta step in a little bit.
Come on, Pastor.
We look at you say that, and I understand that. No. I get you. You say that, and I understand that, and that is a case. That is a case, not the case. It's a case. Okay. On the other side of that fence, you got these hard A women,
independent, INDE,
right? Who gets with that hard man, and it's a fight because she don't want to
give up that leadership.
She don't want to relinquish her responsibilities. So sometimes what happens is this right here. And I'm gonna go way back. I'm gonna take y'all way back to Adam and Eve.
It's gonna get ugly in a nice way.
Here we go.
Adam was.
They were given specific jobs.
No. Adam was given a job. Eve wasn't. Let me go there. Let me go
there again.
Quick, can I get some amen or look at T?
Come on.
She was created for a purpose.
No.
Yes,
Listen what I'm saying.
But y'all missing this point.
Okay,
y'all missing this point because he's saying something.
Yeah,
come on now. Look at him like a pastor. He's going somewhere.
Adam was the most stand-up, hardest man you could ever have because he walked with God.
All right now.
And he was before Eve. He didn't do no wrong. He was this guy, this hard man who took care of business. He had a job. He had everything going on.
Okay.
He told his wife, baby, we're not supposed to eat of this tree.
Mm-hmm.
Everything else we can do. Now, he wasn't no lazy man.
No.
He wasn't no sorry man.
He was laboring.
He was a laborer.
He was toiling the land.
He was up on his own.
Mm-hmm.
He was doing his thing.
I'm listening to you.
Now,
come on, Pastor.
what causes her
Mm-hmm.
to do exactly what her husband told her not to do?
The snake.
Why are we listening to the snake and I ain't listening to my husband?
The
Gloria
serpent.
said, "Wait, Cedric, what?
Why am I listening? No.
You know how they
Why am I
do the
listening?
handkerchief and they like,
No, why am I not listening to my husband, who my husband has not shown any reason for me not to listen to him? Why am I listening to somebody else?
Tell Gloria I got the flag. I haven't thrown it yet because he's telling the truth.
buddy.
Yeah, but why am I
I'm watching him.
Why am I not listening to anybody else? But I'm gonna listen to the snake, and I ain't listening to my husband. That is in a woman's nature,
Mm-hmm.
because that's a Eve thing.
Mm-hmm.
She was talking to a real man. Now we ain't real as that. We not as real as Adam was.
Mm-hmm.
We got flaws.
Mhm.
We was born with flaws.
True.
Adam was not.
Gloria said she waiting for it.
Yeah.
She waiting.
But
Come on now, come with it.
No, what I'm saying is this right here. We talk about you talk about how these weak men, how these weak women. Let's talk about this strong woman who had a strong man and broke him down and say, okay, let's both eat.
There you go.
Ah,
I
shucks now.
cannot complain.
Shucks
I
now.
can't say nothing about that.
Because that's basically what
That's
happened.
biblical.
However,
We don't know if there was an argument. It could have been an argument, and he just got tired and said, "Okay, baby, let's just go eat."
we're not gonna put
We
this
don't know
whole
how that
blame
happened.
on Eve now. I'm
No.
gonna argue with you on this one.
Come on.
Because
Okay.
here is this.
Okay, go ahead.
Adam is the man. God told him first.
Mhm.
So he should have told his wife, no woman, did not God tell you what to do? And he should have put his authority in at that moment.
But not only that,
No,
not only that.
he
Wait,
did, but guess
wait.
what she did?
Not
she
only
ate
that.
first.
No. Not only that. How was Eve able to be convinced by another man to do something she wasn't supposed to do when her husband was supposed to be standing right there protecting her?
First of all,
answer the question.
No.
Answer the question.
We're not gonna put all this on me.
Answer the question.
She was beguiled.
Where was Adam?
Because Adam had never known denial. Adam had not known what no looked like. Adam had never known what a pushback looks like. Adam don't know what that looks like. He don't know what.
But I'm saying, where was Adam when the serpent slid in between their relationship?
He was working. He was doing his thing.
Okay.
And notice this right here. Notice this right here. I want you to notice something. I want y'all to peep this real quick. Okay? Peep it real quick. Okay. Notice the eyes were not open when Eve ate the fruit. The eyes were open when Adam ate the fruit.
That's why he shouldn't eat.
No, immediately.
Okay, we got the audience comment.
Audience comment.
Ronnie Ennis says some people are just sorry, period, men and women. There's no excuses for it. But authority, what? The belt?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah. What if he just knocked upside the head?
And then Gloria said,
No.
remember, it was a test for Adam.
But
Yes.
the other thing is for here too. The other thing is for here.
If he was real, why did he listen to Eve? Was he not the leader?
Because he
First thing he did.
No,
I'm just reading comments.
No, he did not remember. It's something when you've been a certain way for so long, and then next thing you knew, you get a different personality. Like, what the heck is this?
Mm-hmm.
What did I do to have you tell me no?
Mr. Ennis says, what is a man supposed to do? How does he put his foot down? Does he yell?
At the end of the day, you were given a
So
law.
when she but he told her what the law was.
Yes.
You're not supposed to. So how do we know that wasn't a big old argument?
But like you said, even if she ate, he still didn't have to eat. He had a choice.
No.
He had a choice.
No, because guess what though? God gave me her because he said it's the woman that you gave me.
And there he played the blame game.
That's a cop out.
So
that's the blame game.
Because
Okay,
God gave him a law.
then
and
if
he
it's
turned it
then
around
if it's
and
a
he
cop
said
out,
it was the woman you gave me.
then it's a cop out.
What did you tell me, honey?
Why is it?
What do you always tell me? If God comes to your house, he ain't looking for nobody else but that man.
And guess what he does though? But guess what he does though? What people don't realize. After he found out what happened, because God already knew what happened.
Yeah, he laid down the consequences
God
for everybody.
He went to the.
But he went to the man first.
No. He went to initial. He gave the consequence to the initial starter,
The
which was
serpent.
the serpent. He also gave that woman some consequences. And the first words he ever. Now him and Adam had been speaking all throughout the Garden of Eden.
Mm-hmm.
Good conversations. You do this, you do that. The first words he ever spoke to a woman was, "What have you done?" He chastised the woman. The first thing he did was chastise that woman. He did not say, "Hey, girl, how you doing? How the family doing?" No, he chastised her because God knew she was wrong. And a lot of times women don't want to, oh, you know what? We were wrong in that. It should have been that we should have listened to our husband. We shouldn't have had to argue with our husband. If my husband told me to do something, I don't have to argue with him. I'm not listening to no serpent that says anything other than what my husband says. So we need to take that responsibility and say, you know what? I had no business. And you can't say, well, how come he let her? No, how come she did it? Forget the let. Why did she do it? And that's what we talk about, these strong women.
But do you see how far we have advanced? Do you see how far we as men and women, the daughters of Eve and the sons of Adam, have advanced?
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
We have.
Yeah, both parties are advancing. You know what the advancement is? The advancement is you get into a household that has no head. Because the man is trying to be the head, the woman's trying to be the head. And then you got two people knocking neck and neck, knocking each other over. And that's why you got people slapping around each other. That's and that's there's the advancement, but it has nothing to do with society. It has something to do with how you feel like you need to get your own.
Oh, I'm gonna tell you, it's society.
It is society.
It's society, and it is a systematic breakdown for the black family.
Especially
now, in white families, that white man is the head of that house.
You know why? Because that white man making all that money. She ain't gonna say nothing.
You that.
That's not
but
necessarily true.
In our households, it is almost a requirement. No, it is a requirement. It's a requirement for that black man not to be in the house so you can get every benefit that you can, because it's a system designed to suck you in to keep that man out of the house. Because we want your children. We want you. We don't want you to advance.
Y'all showed on.
Because unity advances us, but when we divide it, we fall. Yes. Gloria said, unfortunately, there are not a lot of Cedrics out there.
She said, unfortunately,
no true leadership. And it should be a partnership.
Oh my God.
And then Ronnie Ennis says the curse was that there will always be enmity between man and woman. That was the curse.
Wait, so she said, unfortunately or fortunately?
She said, unfortunately, there are not a lot of Cedrics
unfortunately,
out there.
Unfortunately, that's a good word. Now, so y'all didn't hear fortunately. It's unfortunately.
Honey.
No, it wasn't no typo.
Gloria,
that was real.
Gloria. Don't be giving him the big head. He already got the big head on here. Don't give him no more.
Woman doesn't want a man. We got all these women who say they want a man to take care of them and
take charge.
But you really
don't. They don't mean it.
You don't. You want a man to be the yes man when it's time for him to be the yes man. But when it's not time for him to be a yes man, you want him to shut up.
I can't make a move without talking to him first, baby. I don't know. I'm concerned. What do you think we're gonna do? And then he'll always say it's gonna be all right.
What do you suggest?
I fall right up under that leader. But the first is God, then my husband, then me, then our children. But see, that's not
the order.
Thing.
That's the natural order. That's the way it's supposed to be.
But it's not.
But society does not.
The problem. I'm gonna do more than just society. The problem is right here. We had this conversation last week. Can a woman raise a man?
A couple weeks ago.
There's one of your.
She can't raise him, but she can give him. But
no. But there's one.
Coco said it was meant for Eve to do it. If she didn't, then the book wouldn't have been written like it was. It was already meant. It was God's plan.
Go ahead, because I'm gonna go on that right there. But go ahead.
You go ahead.
Ooh, y'all done woke the sleeping giant.
I was gonna read a scripture to prove my point about it.
That's the pastor I fell in love with right there. Speak it here.
I'm gonna say this right here.
Preach, preacher.
If it was God's plan, then why did He destroy the world with Noah? He destroyed everybody with it because you know what? That was there. But here's what happened. You allow that one incident in time to start deteriorating the world, because remember after that you had Cain and Abel.
Oh yeah.
You know, we're gonna kick you out. We're gonna kick you out of the Garden of Eden. You have Cain and Abel. Your responsibility and your rules that He gave you was you're gonna sweat your blood out. Man, you're gonna work. You're gonna till the field. Yeah, you're gonna till the land. Woman, you're gonna have childbirth. And what we don't ever talk about is He said the woman will always long for that man's position. That's in the Bible. You're going to long for his position. So that's a part of that DNA that He put inside of you that you can't be the head of my household. I'm going to be the head of my household. And it worked itself out throughout time. Let's look at Abraham. Sarah told Abraham to go sleep for Hagar. That wasn't supposed to happen. But guess what he did? Listened. You know, so this is nothing new. This is something we've been going through throughout the beginning of time. it happens like that. The problem is this right here. Sometimes we as men sit back and be weepy and say, okay.
No, transfer of power. That's what it is.
Well, the transfer of power happened in the Garden of Eden when they pushed them out.
We transfer our power.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
That's what the man does. When he doubts himself and he doesn't trust God, he willfully transfers power to the woman. That way he don't have to take the blame. Well, it was the woman you sent me.
But whose responsibility?
Professor.
But whose responsibility is it? Like a woman has responsibility, and that is to be the helpmate of her man.
A suitable
helpmate. But that is her responsibility. If she does not hold on to her responsibility and do the due diligence that God has given her, what do you think is going to happen to that man that he's given to you? Is he supposed to push you aside and say, hey, you know what? I can do this myself. I'm going to I don't need you. No, God gave you her for a reason. And if she's not doing her responsibility, then she's got to own up to it too. You know what? I'm tearing this man down. That's why the transfer of power is going on. I'm tearing my man. I need to hear from Professor. Tear my man down, and that's why he's transferring his power. Sometimes it's because of me that his power is being transferred. That's why in Acrimony, when he felt like I don't believe in your product, it tore him down.
I did not know this was going to turn into a sermon. But I should have known. I should have known.
Good stuff.
But that's okay. I love it. Professor, what you got?
No,
Come on, Professor. Now we ain't heard from your sermon.
He went through a whole another verse.
Yeah, we ain't heard your sermon in a long time.
No, I just wanted to touch on. Well, let me touch on this. He had asked a question about Noah, right? What was the question you asked?
Well, it said if that was God's plan, then why did he destroy the world with Noah?
Did you get an answer?
No.
Do you know the answer?
Yeah, because I know the answer.
What's the answer?
Because the world turned so crooked that the sinfulness outweighed the goodness of the world. And so God said, I am going to destroy the people on the earth. But I'm going to ask you to go around, because his responsibility was to go tell people, hey, man, it's going to be a flood. Y'all need to get your act right.
But didn't God say, if you could find one?
Yes.
If you could find one I will not destroy the earth.
He couldn't find none.
And he couldn't find one outside of himself.
And he wanted, because the sinfulness of the world had taken over so much to where it was going to go downhill harder than a hand. It was going to go fast.
Hell in a handbag.
It was going to go fast. And then the good that Noah and his family would have been trampled over and washed away. He couldn't get that back.
Professor, what's your answer?
So does it ever come across your mind that he did what he did so he can get the glory in the end?
Everything he does is for the glory.
Right.
Everything's for his glory.
That's true.
I get that.
Right.
The point I'm trying to make to that is when she said that it was planned. Okay. Well, the plan for the world is for God created people so they can give him glory.
So they can worship him.
So they can worship him. You get a whole earth full of people that don't worship you, and you got two people worshiping you, then my selfishness as a God comes out and say, whoa, something's wrong with this. I need to redo this thing. He is
a jealous God.
I need to redo this thing. Because remember, we go to Tower of Babylon. He split up everybody because y'all trying to think y'all better than me.
Okay.
Remember in the tower that we're going to build a tower that's going to reach the earth, so you ain't got to come down? So that's how good we are. So let me split up these. That's where different languages come from. Chinese, Hispanic. Let me split y'all up.
All right. Okay. Well, we got 3 minutes. Okay. Last comments.
Go ahead.
I was going to read Genesis 3:6. It says, so when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she, Eve, took of its fruit and ate, and she also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate. Out of that verse, what's the key phrase?
She was superficial.
She gave
to him and ate.
You're close.
So read it one more time.
He was with her.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was with her.
That's the key. The leader, the headship was with her and witnessed what she did.
Now let me ask this question here.
Okay.
It never said he witnessed. It said he was with her.
Correct.
I can be Martin, coach is way over there.
Mm-hmm.
Assistant coach is way over here. They're with each other, aren't they?
That's not what that.
No.
They were in proximity.
No. I'm going
with
off
her and
no.
What I'm saying
I'm
is
going off of
he witnessed it.
I'm
He
going
was
off,
in.
No, it didn't say he witnessed. It says he was with her.
But that's what it is interpreted as.
That's how interpretation gets.
He was with her.
He was, but
he saw everything from the very beginning.
No, you keep going off.
He had to be in close proximity because she handed it to him.
She said she gave.
She gave to him. She handed it to him. She didn't toss it to him.
No. But
she gave
guess
to
what?
him.
We're gonna have to continue.
And he ate.
Yeah, we're gonna have to continue this from here because I'll break that bad boy down.
Oh
you
boy.
have to remember.
I Hebraically break it down.
But Adam was with her when she committed the sin. I'm telling you something.
And her eyes
okay,
open,
let Professor finish his statement. And
no, we don't have enough time. We got to stay on course. To be continued.
To be continued.
Okay?
We got to be continued.
We have two now.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to break.
All right, so this portion has been brought to you by Brick House Lounge, and this is 411 Sports News on 411 Radio Network.